What's up, guys? Iceman here.
So, this story is about a polar bear that killed a woman and her young child. And this incident happened very recently. And I've seen a lot of headlines about how the environment, climate change, and all that caused this attack to happen, or that it was malnourished or whatnot. And it's basically all the people's fault, not the bears. But let's delve into this story, and I'm curious what you guys have to say. What do you think the culprit is in this incident? And I don't know much about it just yet, but I'm looking forward to getting in it. I'd like to thank you guys for all your support on this channel, as it has been growing bear-ponentially. So if you will, hit the thumbs up button, like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And if you want to support me further, you can become a patron or a channel member. Links in the description below. So let's get into this chilling bear attack. Summer Myomick was a beautiful young woman, and at only 25 years of age, she enjoyed her life of solitude and peace in a small village outside of Wales, Alaska. Her son, Clyde, was a young, vibrant boy who filled his mom and dad with great joy and love for the few years they had him in their lives. Only around 150 people lived in their small community, most of them being Inuit. The small, budding family enjoyed things like whale watching, dog sledding with huskies, exploring ice caves, and catching the northern lights, with a warm cup of hot chocolate to help savor those family moments. They were an active family who enjoyed hiking through the Denali National Park, cruising the Seaward Highway, and cruising the coastal waters by boat, and exploring the many sights of the Great Glaciers. It was a sad, horrific day on January 17, 2023, one of the coldest months of the year in the tiny village. That very day is when the giant, hungry polar bear entered the small community and chased multiple residents. Many of them ran back into their homes or hid in their vehicles. The bear seemed to be fearless of them, and little did they know that very day blood would be drawn. That afternoon, there was a vicious snowstorm, but yet school was going on as usual, and it was just another day for the town's inhabitants. Summer began walking her child Clyde home through the piercing cold and harsh visibility on that afternoon. Not long at all after leaving the building, the gusts of snow began to recede for but a moment, and about 20 feet in front of her, she saw the glowing eyes of a vicious, hungry, desperate polar bear. She clung to her child and began stepping back, realizing she was too far away from the school building to quickly return back without the bear chasing her, because she knew it wasn't a good idea to turn your back and run from such a formidable creature such as the Alaskan polar bear. They stood still for a moment, staring at the bear, steam coming from its mouth as it gazed back at them. Little Clyde turned to his mom and clenched her greatly. The woman did what she could as she began slowly stepping back toward the school building. It was said that there were many onlookers in the school at the time. Even the principal of the school saw what was going on outside, and moments after the attack, he initiated a lockdown of the school, shutting all the curtains so the children within couldn't see the horrific scene take part outside the building. The bear lowered its head and lurched toward Summer and her small child. And before she could make another move, it charged her, standing on its hind legs and bringing her to the ground with ease. A few of the onlookers from inside the building claimed that the bear was seen digging into Summer's body, ripping off her coat and jacket as it tore into her and began gnawing on her flesh. The child, unfortunately, was mortally wounded in the scuffle. Some of the working adults in the school building began banging on the windows, yelling at the bear, only to get it to look up once or twice, with its face and fur and neck and mouth stained in dark red blood. About 5 or 6 adults from inside the building grabbed brooms and snow shovels and charged outside, shouting and screaming at the bear. Instantly upon the sight of this, the bear displayed zero signs of fear and bluff charged the people. They had no choice but to retreat back into the building, locking the doors behind them. Authorities were called at the time, but the storm was so bad outside, a helicopter couldn't make it in that easily. So they had to watch in fear and helplessness as the bear enjoyed its first meal in some time. Finally, a local resident who might have been driving by came to assist the 2 victims who may or may not have lost their lives by this time. He took out his rifle and put several rounds into the bear. It charged toward him, head swinging and roaring loudly, but the man was able to take it down with a few more shots. And finally, the horrific scene came to an end. School was canceled for the remainder of the week. Counseling and games was offered to the children of the community, as the town knew that they had no choice but to move on from this tragic incident. It is known that polar bears are one of the few animals on Earth who are known to actually consider humans as prey. But what caused this horrific attack? Was the bear desperate, or did it just find opportunity and took advantage of it? Jeez, what do you guys think about that tragic story? Could you imagine helplessly being attacked by something so great and powerful, clenching your child tightly? Just how little hope you would probably feel in such an incident. I would guess you would only hope for a swift, painless death, because how could you overpower such a beast? Polar bears, the males anyway, on average range between 600 and 1,200 pounds and can stand 8 to 10 feet tall. It's crazy how strong these things are, and often I speculate that they might be the most fearsome bear of them all, because their diet is 100% carnivorous, whereas most brown bears and black bears are omnivores. And polar bears, however, primarily feed on seals, but sometimes approach larger prey, such as walrus, narwhal, and beluga whales, which is probably why there are animal experts out there who say that polar bears hunt humans on some occasions. It'd be crazy to live in a small village with those bears around it. I feel like no matter what, I would hope to be armed with something. It doesn't seem like this young woman was armed, but the walk home was quite short, and they probably did it every day for years without any problems. It's just that the snowstorm was so severe they could barely see in front of them that day, and unfortunately, tragedy struck. But could you imagine being in that situation, or what her husband must have felt like after hearing the news that his 2 loved ones are gone forever? There's actually a GoFundMe for their family, so I'll post that in the comment section below. But my goodness, what a horrific thing. There really isn't many details about this attack. Most of the articles I've seen about it are just about climate change and saying how humans are at fault for why these things happen and all that. But other than that, I can't find much more information on the attack. But I'm curious what you guys have to say about this, and what should be done with the polar bear situation. Do you think they should put up fences, or just have more people carrying bear spray? Should they relocate them? Or should all public places have some sort of defense mechanism to work against them? I don't really know what the solution is, but I'm curious what you guys have to say about that. But I do appreciate you listening. So again, if you will, like this video, subscribe to the page, and stay tuned for more chilling tales from the Iceman.